Okay, it's Si here on the Friday Frenzy on TBFM Online, and I'm speaking to Steve from Ethernal. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, really good. Nice to be speaking to you in this chilly weather. It's the
Yeah, it certainly is cold, isn't it?
yeah
It's
yeah.
good weather though, isn't it? Snow, frost.
It's the right kind of stuff. It's the stuff we like, I suppose. Right. So Ethernal. What does that name mean? And could you describe it within the music you create?
Essentially, it's a word play on the word ether and the word eternal. Most of our music is inspired by contacting the ether as such. It's channeled through there rather than. I don't see myself as the sort of writer. I see myself more as the channel for that.
Mm.
That's the same with the other guys as well. So the name kind of ended up sitting so well with that concept that we went with it.
Okay, cool. Um, so it's quite refreshing to hear a bit of new wave of British heavy metal in your sound.
Oh,
Um,
thanks. Yeah. Yeah, stuff like, well, when we were young and getting into metal, stuff like Maiden and, other stuff, that was all, a big part of it. And, bands like Zeppelin and Rainbow have been like massive influence on us.
mm,
So
mm.
I guess it all makes its way into it, doesn't it?
Yeah. What about some more of the extreme influences? Who would you say? Who would you cite as your kind of top three
All
influences?
top three. Well, dissection's definitely a big one that
Mm,
people always point out. Very recently, it's been Corons on as well. It's been a massive influence. Just I think because what they do is so amazing, and also because they were doing it from day one, really. Back
mm,
in 1986, they were
mm,
doing that.
mm.
And yeah, I'd say as well, sort of from more of the death metal end as well, stuff like Morbid Angel was a massive influence on all of us. So
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I had to pick a top three. I would pick those three.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, I mean, along with that, the production values aren't particularly as mainstream as some of the other stuff. Is that intentional? Like I'm talking about kind of, I don't really notice much like triggering on drums
Oh
and
man,
things
there's
like
no
that.
triggering. We do like to keep it as natural as possible. Mark's very sort of, his drum kit is very finely tuned and he
Mm,
works very hard to make it sound acoustically as good as possible.
mm, mm.
And yeah, I mean, it was entirely self-produced Archeos. We did it essentially in Mark's garage.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that's possibly why it's not quite so mainstream.
I mean, that was going to be my next question. Like, is it a self-produced record? So, I mean, presumably you have like a home recording setup in the garage at the time.
Yeah,
How do you find that rather than going into like a studio?
well, it gives us so much more freedom because we're in control of what's going on. I mean, we've had a few different studio experiences with Ethernal along the way, and they've all left us quite disappointed
Mm,
ultimately.
mm,
Like the sort of engineers who don't understand the music or
mm,
just the time constraints of it all. Working on Archeos, we were able to really sort of do it bit by bit around, our lives and so forth, and really take all the time we wanted and put all the care into it. So um, it would be nice to be able to come out with a really nice, polished commercial recording at the end of it all, but essentially, the freedom that doing it ourselves gives us is worth so much to us that, that's what comes first.
yeah, yeah. Okay, great. Um, so we saw you in late October in London at the Devonshire Arms with A Tournament Misanthropic Existence.
Yeah.
So where has Ethernal gone since then?
Well, we've been busy writing our next album, which is pretty much written now. We're just sort of working on trying to sort out doing a recording for it. So we've really just put all our energies into that. We've also been doing a few different side projects along the way. Our bass player does a project called Portent. That's nearly finished and going to be released soon. We've also done a bit of a few Ethernal songs remixed as well, which we're hoping to release quite soon as a little EP as well.
Yeah, well, I've just been looking at that actually. What's the deal with the remixing then? Have you offered that open to everyone?
Well, I've worked with a friend of mine on this. He's done some of them, I've done some of the others. And really, he did it for the love of it, and I did it because I'd always wanted to kind of experiment in that sort of direction a little bit
Mm.
with some of the songs. It was just a good excuse to sort of do that and get on with it.
I suppose it gives you a secondary opinion as to what other people, how other people see your music, or in a way, doesn't it?
Exactly. I mean, we were amazed with some of the sounds that came back. You know, thinking, "Cool, this the same multi-track that we had for our first album." You know, they've come back amazing. So yeah, it's been really good fun doing that.
Okay, great. So you've also had a review in Terrorize magazine of Archias, and the guys there seem to like you quite a bit. So you know, how's that? Have you seen much come off the back of that? I know you were on one of the Fear Candy CDs as well, weren't you?
Yeah, Terrorizer and Miranda in particularly have always been great support and a great help to us, and we've always really appreciated that. It's great if you can get, you know, sort of people like that behind you. It really is, and they've, you know, thrown gigs our way and things like that. Yeah, I can't really thank them enough, to be honest with you. They've been a big help for the band.
Okay, cool. So do you do a lot of your writing in the studio, or is it you know, like on your home recording devices, or is it jammed out first and then you decide, yes, we're ready to go into the record it now?
Well, it's an interesting process. I mean, a lot of the riffs as such are written in that sort of jammed fashion. You know, they happen in the moment when we're in the practice room, and that's very much always been at the heart of our sound. You know, put us all together and sort of let it happen, see what comes out. You know, and from then it sort of tends to be kind of then built into a demo on a home recording system, so you know, we can sort of get it right and get it so we like it, and you know, from there we then kind of take it to a studio. Last album was almost entirely written before we went in. There was a few songs which needed a bit of work still, but yeah, it was all pretty much written. That's the way we'd rather be, is get the songs right and then go to a studio.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I suppose it gives you a bit more of that kind of natural sound as well. I mean, a lot of bands are doing that, you know, and writing as they produce the music, and it does make quite a large change to the music, I think, and in metal in general.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think when it comes to particularly black metal, the techniques involved are so complicated and difficult to pull off. I'm amazed anyone can even dream of going near a studio without being totally rehearsed about what they're going to do. And I think in some recordings you hear that they haven't gone worked on it, but you know.
All right, cool. So where's the best place for you to play in the UK? I mean, you obviously play around like High Wycombe, London, and stuff quite a significant amount. But have you ventured much further out?
Yeah, we played a couple of years back. We played with the Forest of Stars and Acolyte in Manchester, and that was a fantastic gig. That really was great. And trying to think where else now. Nowhere else actually springs to mind.
Yeah.
But it's generally been London. I guess it's quite difficult in a way to kind of get yourself out of London when you're playing there regularly.
Is there any venues that you'd like to give a shout out to that have treated you well, and that you enjoy playing there?
Well, like I say, when we played in Manchester, that was a great gig at Satan's Hollow. That's a fantastic venue. It really is. It's all round and it's got demons coming out of the wall.
Oh, cool! All right.
It's just what you want.
Yeah. Fitting. All right. So what's your local scene like? Do you get out too much?
Our local scene is virtually non-existent, pretty much where we are. I mean, we're outside London, so once upon a time, High Wycombe was home of Candlelight Records, and you know, I was lucky enough to see like Opeth down the pub before they were a massive name. You know, we saw loads of great bands coming through there, but that's changed in the last few years, and yeah, it's pretty dead. I mean, put it this way, it took us 2 years to find a guitar player who's even into sort of black metal and so forth.
So not great, but
not especially great, but
I mean, I guess you can hop on the train and get over to central London quite easily and see a load of stuff.
So quick for us to get to, so you know, it's more like we're sort of involved in that scene than we are round here locally and such.
All right, cool. So, is there any artists that you're going to see, as a music fan, like in the next year?
To be honest with you, I'm a bit busy writing and so forth at the moment. I haven't planned ahead on anything like that. The other guys are always very keen to get out there and watch other bands. Really keyed up on everything like that. I myself am a bit of a hermit and spend
like festivals or anything like that? Do you plan to go to something like Bloodstock or?
Well, I'll tell you what, we'd love to play Bloodstock. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'd certainly be going along if I was playing.
Yeah, but you're not going to pay for it.
Well, you know.
No, I know what you mean. That's cool. All right, so yeah, thanks for talking to us, Steve. And yeah, do you want to introduce one of your tracks now?
Hi, it's Steve from Ethernal, and you're listening to Friday Frenzy on TBFM Online, and this is The Seat of Kings.